Good morning, buenos días. Para toda mi gente que está escuchando, for everybody's listening, today we have a young lady that is running for office. And I just like to say that she's from my country. She's a Nooksack Valley graduate, and that's where I graduated. It's an honor to have somebody uh, from Nooksack that's actually running for office. So I will let my friend take over introduction and if anybody has any questions, we have live chats. So if you have questions to bring up, please be free because this video is going to be shared on YouTube. And so it's important that you have an idea who Hannah is, what she's trying to do for you as a voter. It's also important that we connect. This is the way that we connect here in Ferndale. Uh, La Voz De Whatcom goes all the way to Mexico, to California. We have friends down there that actually listen to the program. So don't be shy or timid. Got questions? You have the ability to go online and ask questions on chat. And most important thing is share this information because it's important that anybody that I bring here, a candidate running for office, since the beginning, I've always said anybody that would like to go on the air, they're welcome to come on board. Give me a call, make an appointment, and come. Republican, Independent, Democrat, whatever. The important thing is you have a voice here, and we're trying to do as much as possible to let people know that La Voz de Whatcom, it's a radio stream radio in which you can come and talk about issues for the community. And I have other things that I'll be talking about at a different time, but for now, we have this young lady here. And
well, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. So my name is Hannah Ordos, and I am a graduate from Nooksack Valley High School. Go Pioneers. I'm running for the Whatcom County Council at-large position. So what that means is this particular county council position represents all of Whatcom County. So from the foothills to Lummi Island to Bellingham to Point Roberts. And so a little bit about myself. So other than being a graduate from Nooksack, I also went to Western Washington University. I met the love of my life about 18 years ago. Sometimes it feels like yesterday. We have 3 boys, so 12, 16, and I have a 22-year-old stepson as well. I graduated from Western, and after that, I stayed in Bellingham for about 20 years, and I worked in 4 different industries. And a couple of years ago, I decided that it was time to come back to the county and move home. And I was just sharing that I live right next door to my dad on my grandparents' old property. And so I think at some point it'll be my turn and I'll be able to take care of him, just like he took care of me all those years. Did you have any questions for me, or you want me to just keep going?
You can keep going. Chris Ordos is a close friend of mine, and you know Chris. Mm-hmm. So we were involved quite a bit in Nooksack. Good friends, straightforward. He worked also at Antalico. Mm-hmm. So he's a local. He's a person that's been involved locally. And of course, now we have here a young lady, Hannah, who's also doing the same thing, providing and also at the same time helping in the community. So how long have you been involved as far as it goes?
So I like to do this plug, especially if we have any new voters out there that just out of high school. One of the things I would say that sadly I have not been involved in politics for most of my life. I've, like many, we're going along with my day-to-day stuff and really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to politics. And I think that's one of my biggest lessons over the last 5 or 6 years, becoming more involved, paying more attention, realizing how important it is as community members that we're involved in the process. And one of the things that I have found out is that when you get a little more involved, you you truly understand that you have a voice and your voice matters, and it's so incredibly important to be able to use it. So I have recently, in the past few years, I've done a few things at a local level. I'm part of the North Sound Behavioral Health Advisory Board, which is a regional board that helps grant funds to communities such as ours for things like behavioral health services, substance abuse services. And we help kind of navigate local nonprofits or local organizations to be able to provide those to communities. I'm also a Be the One mentor. So if you are in the Linden School District or Nooksack or Ferndale, you're familiar with that. It's community members coming together with high school and middle school students, because I think it's important, even outside family homes, to have adults that you can learn from and you can trust. I think one of the other things is I have not missed a county council meeting in we're getting close to 3 years now. So I attend all the county council meetings, and a lot of time it's because what happens at those county council meetings don't always come out to the community. And so in order to get some of this important information that affects our businesses or affects our property, or it affects some of our local laws, sometimes you have to go and find that information. It's actually pretty complicated. That's one of the things I'd actually like to change in a county council position, is making sure that the information that's being discussed, it's easier for community members to access and to understand.
So that's good that you are engaged. And you wonder sometimes, of all the candidates that have been running for office, how engaged are they when they go to the meetings? Are they going to every meeting that comes up? I believe that every meeting in which they're a representative for the community, it is important. It's very important. And that's another thing that I'd also like to bring up right now as I speak. Right now here in Ferndale, where I'm in the equity committee, and the thing about how much teeth it has. I'm sorry, Ferndale. Yes, I live in Ferndale, and I'm very, and my people that I work with on the team, they know that I'm very straightforward and I do bring things up. And I not only am I trying to put Ferndale down, but I'm talking to everybody in the county. Everybody. How many employees of color does the government? I'm talking about Ferndale, Nooksack, Linden, Blaine, Baker. How many employees of color? How many opportunities have they had to be engaged? Where is the voice of the people? And that's something here locally in Ferndale there isn't. I'm sorry. I'm very straightforward. I'm the next Washington State Hispanic Commissioner, and I served my term 6 years. And after the 6 years, I was still involved in the community here, and I'm still involved doing things to correct. Justice is justice, and a lot of times, the Hispanics, the Black people, my fellow Lummi Nation, sometimes there are issues, and yet nobody wants to face them, or they don't want to talk about it. But think about the kids, the children in the schools. What are we sending? What kind of signal are we sending to them? And that's something to consider. So I believe this includes a lot. It's a big bubble. But you know something? As an individual who wants to, like I said, walk the straight narrow road, it's up to you to make the decision. But also, we also should be a mouthpiece for our younger generation. This young lady here, she's doing what it takes to follow that, to be obedient, to go to all the meetings and be partaker of things that she can share to some people that do not go to the meetings. Myself, the radio, a little bit in Spanish. Para todos ustedes que están escuchando este programa, necesitamos que Mariana que entre en esta clase de gobierno, sigue haciendo esta obra, porque hay muchos que no van a las juntas del condado. Está corriendo para el concilio en el condado. Es importante para ella que sigue corriendo, ayudando a la gente, ayudando a sus hijos, especialmente si hay problemas en las escuelas. Aquí en Ferndale igualmente, no tenemos suficiente, no tenemos latinos en el gobierno, no tenemos negros, no tenemos muchos de lamination tampoco en el gobierno. ¿Por qué? Son todos blancos en esa manera. Solamente hay uno, yo creo, aquí en el condado, aquí en Ferndale, que es latino. Además, ¿qué está pasando? Los latinos debemos tener la voz para ayudar a la gente, para ayudar a los niños en la escuela. La escuela también al mismo tiempo debe estar escuchando este mensaje, porque los padres entonces pueden decir, oh sí, vamos a hablar con Manuela, vamos a hablar con esta Ana también, de nuestros hijos, hijas, como sea. Está pasando cosas en las escuelas que no deben pasar. Los niños necesitan la voz. Basically what I said just now with Hannah, when I bring the word Hannah, she's here. She's a voice for the people. If some Latinos or somebody's having problems with the schools or whatsoever, anything, issues in which the school administrations are denying or not accepting reality, if a person is struggling with studies or something going on, and if the child cannot go to the mother, who is a Latina or Latino, and cannot express the frustration that they have, who are they going to talk to? This is an issue that's in the county. Now, Mount Vernon, is the population is a lot bigger than up here, but our children is the future of tomorrow. So we have to consider all the little things, how to protect and guide, and also to the different school meetings too, the different county meetings too. Bring this because they are the future. They are the hopefully next candidate for something or another. And so I think I've said my part, but you can continue saying whatever you're lit. That's important. Well, we have the freedom of speech here, and I want you to understand either in English or in Spanish. Si tienen preguntas, me pueden poner una información aquí en chat para poder seguir otra vez, porque yo sé que mucha gente está escuchando la estación La Voz de Whatcom. Es la única radio que hay aquí en el condado que llega hasta México. Por eso digo yo, usted tiene el poder de decir algo, poner algo también porque a contestar a su pregunta. You have the power to chat, so we can answer any question that you might have. Okay, and if we can't answer it, we will do it as best as we know how. Period. No exception. So that's the reason we have La Voz de Whatcom stream radio. It's the only stream radio bilingual in the Northwest. There's no other one. I'm sorry. We started this about 2 years ago, and it's still being a place where people can get information. During the storm up in Sumas, I went up there and I contacted one of the state guys who was helping the people out, and I told him about the Voz de Whatcom. I put it on there, and he said, I need some people because people need help. And they were meeting in Nooksack, actually, in one of the churches in Nooksack. Mm-hmm. And I told him, let me put it on the air. I put it in the air. The following day, the whole place was full of people seeking help. So it does work. Yeah. It's a tool that can be used to help you. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Well, one of the things that I wanted to share, because I think it's important, like sometimes something has to happen for people to get involved. And I was attending county council meetings and more just to learn. But I think what prompted me to continue to show up week after week or every other week and then start attending the committee meetings during the day and paying a lot more attention was I moved back with my family to Sumas right before the floods. So we moved back at the end of September and the floods happened November 16th. And that night, November 16th, A friend of mine, I'd seen her on Facebook, and her dad was missing. She hadn't talked to her dad for a long time. He lived, I believe, on 1st or 3rd Street in Sumas. So I went down to the bottom of my hill on Halverstick to see if I could find him as they were bringing people in on the boats and tractors. I ended up seeing neighbors that I hadn't connected with for years, and then meeting new neighbors in the community at the base of that hill. And it was a group of people who were just there with tractors, flat bottom boats, whatever they could do to get the community members out of Sumas. And I remember that night, County Council was speaking, and I zoomed in and I spoke and I shared with them the experience that we had. I think probably the most impactful moment for me that day was when there was a woman, and she had a car seat, and there was just a little baby in just a diaper, and you could tell that they were rushed to leave their homes because he just had a little towel over him. And she handed me her child, and she didn't know who I was. She just trusted that I was there to help. And it was it was very emotional for me. The amount of trust people were having in one another to come together as a community to help one another. And I noticed in my attendance to the council meetings for the weeks following that is that people were talking about the floods for a little while, and then they just stopped. And so I felt prompted to speak out on behalf of Sumas and Nooksack and Everson, and people who still weren't in their homes that still needed help. And it felt like it wasn't being talked about with the sense of urgency that I believe it deserved. It was just kind of an agenda item on the county council. And I think that is what triggered me, that our small cities and our small communities in the rural areas don't have a big voice in the county council. But yet what the county council does affects mostly our rural communities and our small cities. And so it just prompted me to just keep coming back every other week and not missing them, because I wanted to be able to, one, hear what was going on and be able to communicate with my communities, but also be a voice to speak out on something, even if it didn't affect me personally, just to be a voice to continue to remind them we still have people out in the valley that aren't back in their homes yet. And, and that's concerning to me. And that kind of led to why I actually am running for county council. I'm not a politician. If you have ever met me or talked to me, you know that I am not a politician. But I don't believe in local government you need to be a politician to be involved. I actually think you need more people who just love their community and want to see their community thrive and build something good together. I feel like those are the kind of people that we need to have more of in local government. The people that aren't persuaded by special interest or political gains, but more just caring about the people around them, even if they don't know them. And that's where I think I'm different than most of your politicians. I care about your children just as much as I care about mine, and I care about your families. I think that we have better communities and more successful communities when people feel cared for and they feel like it's valuable when they help one another. And that's the type of local government I think we should do better at promoting that, because what the Valley did during the flood was sheer heroism. The way the community came together to help one another, and we had, our Sikh community coming out and feeding people. And this was not the government doing its work. These were people doing its work. Government should just be there as a guide if needed, and making sure we have public safety and good roads, and we're attracting good businesses, and like that's what government really should be about. But where things really happen is empowering people to come together, and the government should just sit back and help foster that and encourage it. But sometimes I think government likes to get in and try to control that. And well, when you're in a small community, you know that when people want to help each other, there's no controlling that.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. Well, I might now I'm going to say it in Spanish as much as I can, but you said it. La cosa que pasó hace, what year was that?
2021.
El 2021 para Sumas, para Nooksack, para Linden, se vino el agua, la lluvia, y hubo muchas cosas que pasaron en ese tiempo. En Sumas hubo mucha gente que perdió muchas cosas por por el río que se salió. En ese tiempo ella también vivía cerca de Sumas, Haverstick Road. Yeah, Haverstick, el camino Haverstick Road. Y ella bajó para ayudar a la gente. Cuando bajó la lomita ahí, encontró toda la gente ahí, encontró gente que de verdad necesitaba ayuda. Se crió en el rancho más o menos, por decir. Ella, la gente la conoció a ella en ese tiempo también. Él la respetó porque estaba ella ayudando. Una persona que tiene un corazón para la gente en esa manera. Y también habló también de India, la gente de India, la gente que también se juntó, se unió, ayudando a la gente que necesitaba ayuda. Así debe ser nuestra comunidad, será Sumas, el condado de Whatcom, donde sea. Debemos trabajar unidos para ayudar nuestra gente. ¿Quién es nuestra gente? Cada persona que tiene el poder de hablar. Y muchas veces las personas que hablan no saben el inglés. Y hay gente como Hannah que sí está para ayudar. Está en el condado ahorita, va a estar en la parte del condado. Y por eso está corriendo por la oficina ella, a seguir para apoyar nuestra gente y la gente que tenga una voz en el condado. Muchas veces se entran en la política, y es todo lo que quieren hablar política. No hay mucha gente que de verdad está para apoyar nuestra gente, los de India, o los latinos, o los negros, o de los indios. No hay mucha gente que tiene el corazón para apoyar. Y por eso Ena está corriendo para ayudar a cambiar un poco el sistema que tenemos aquí en el condado. I think it's important that we start considering the people that are running for office. I don't believe running for office if it's the I can do it. I believe that we as a community can be gathered together and work together for the benefit of those who sometimes do not have a voice. And I think it's important also to consider, examine all the candidates that will be running for office. Which ones are worthy that you can count on, trustworthy in a way that you feel good after you mark on the slot for that individual. That's something that we have to consider. It is important that people that are running for office do a little bit of background check or whatever you have to talk to them. And you can invite them on the radio before it's too late, but still, this door is open. This door, La Voz De Whatcom Stream Radio, the door is open. I know there's some that they're running again for different mayors and so forth and so forth. Some have already been mayors for a while. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm very equal. I will listen to them. And if there's an opening for them to come on board on La Voz De Whatcom, the door is open. A lot of times they might not want to come to me because I'm very straightforward. I try to keep things in a good spirit, I guess, in a way. And the questions I ask are sometimes maybe hard for them to answer. I'm sorry, but the people need to listen to the questions I ask because that is how sometimes they will vote. Republican, Democrat, independent, nonpartisan, whatever it may be, show you true colors by coming on the radio. Uh, the door is open. So I'd like to thank you. Go ahead and say anything else because you have the time.
Um, I would, I'll give everybody a little tip. So, voting needs to be done by 8 p.m. on November 7th. But if you vote early and drop your ballots in the drop box, then mailers and phone calls and text messages usually stop. So if you're tired of getting mail, it's always good to vote early. And as was stated, if you have any questions for me, I run my own campaign. So all you have to do is if you go to hannah4whatcom.com, my contact information is there. I return emails, I return phone calls. I'm always willing to have the conversation. And I appreciate what you said about being able to have hard conversations. I think a lot of times, especially in local government, people are afraid to talk about the tough stuff. And part of it is because there's no easy solution. And so people don't want to talk about things that they don't think they can fix. And so what happens is we don't often bring enough people to the table to actually work on really good solutions. That's what I would like to change in our local government. It's a nonpartisan position, which means this position is supposed to be neither Democrat or Republican. It really should be about bringing people together because we have urban communities and rural communities, and sometimes the things that are important to them are different, and they need to be listened to and given collaborating on different solutions that will help and work for the communities that you're in, because one size does not fit all when it comes to fixing things. And so I like to work with people. I like to listen because I don't have all the answers. The people have the answers, and we should be bringing them together to find solutions.
We lost a few years now. We lost Antalico. I worked there for 22 years, 21 years, and it has affected the community quite hard here in Whatcom County, actually, as far as that goes. Even from the people who are coming from Skagit to work here at Antalico. But do you see anything coming up? I know, I guess the area where Antalico was, I guess it got sold to a Canadian company.
I believe
like
so.
that.
I don't have all the details on that.
But the important thing is this: how do you feel about something else coming on board here locally in Whatcom County? What kind of do you have any ideas? What kind of a company would benefit our community? Trying to keep it. I worked at Antalico. To tell you straightforward, I didn't care because of the pollution. There's a lot of people got sick. There's a lot of people died. My father was one of them too. Cancer and everything else. And so that's why I have not been a promoter of any more gases into our beautiful area in Whatcom County. I would like to have something else come that is really more cleaner and safer health-wise for our community. So I'm hoping that the listeners will keep that in mind. So if you have a candidate come on board, ask them, where do you stand? Do you want another Antalico with all the gases and everything else? Or do you want something else to give jobs? Ferndale, we know it's growing everywhere. But what's going to happen? Where are the jobs at? Those are the questions that you should be asking. The candidates that are running for office, would they be able to hopefully bring friendly type jobs to our area, safe jobs, in which we can grow in a very peaceful way, accountable way, so we don't overdo it. I mean, that's my part. I know that you probably have some other views, but that's my part that I bring to you as a citizen, a concerned citizen that way too.
Well, one of the things, those are considered more heavy industry type locations. I did a tour actually of BP not too long ago, and the things that they're doing with renewable energy and the investment. I think if I'm remembering correctly, they made a $1 billion investment over the years to make sure that they're moving in the direction, and they've made substantial gains in getting to be more clean energy. So for me, and this is with the information that I have, just being a private citizen, is that I think that we can have those types of industry jobs with the types of environmental. We have a lot of ordinances in place, so someone can't just come in and probably build another Alcoa and Tauco that started, years and years ago. So those types of businesses likely would never survive in today's expectation of being safe and environmentally friendly. But I remember I heard a county council meeting not too long ago where Ben Allenboss, which is the council member for District 5, was talking about how we can have good industry that brings good living wage jobs to communities and do it in an environmentally friendly way. And in some cases, if these types of industries need to happen because they produce the products that we consume, why wouldn't we want it done here where we're doing it the best in the nation, if not the world? And so it's kind of one of those things where no one wants certain things to happen in their backyard. But if we're doing it better than any place in the world, and we're doing it under the environmental rules that we've set in place, then it's something that we should at least consider. And I appreciated that, because he's a graduate from Huxley College in Environmental Studies, and he works at the refinery, and he's a farmer. So he gets to look at things from a lot of different perspectives. So I appreciate on county council when he takes the time to explain that to just the regular, everyday private citizen.
Yeah, well, those are the people that we have to keep on board if possible, because they're knowledgeable, and it's important that the truth is the truth. I'm sorry, but that's the way it should be. And honesty, I think, is number one in which to be considering, especially when we are applying for a job or an office, in the county here. So that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, we never had no questions, but I'm quite sure everybody will be listening or viewing this stream radio on YouTube. We'll be on YouTube, so I thought I'd let you know that we'd like to thank you. Share this video with your friends, and we can go from there. And I'll start sharing mine right now with Hannah's approval here. I'm going to go on.
Thank you for the invitation. My first radio show.
There you go. I'm going to put share this. You could put this something on there, okay? Go ahead and put your name, bold, or whatever.
You want me to